Hey there, welcome to episode 8. I wanted to follow up last week's anxiety episode with just a story of major provision that happened a couple years ago, and it was actually 3 years ago this week. And these are things that happen all the time in my life that just cause me to not worry and to trust God because He comes through and He does stuff like this. And it's really amazing. And it blows me away every single time. So 3 years ago this week, we headed out from Tucson to move to Virginia.
Just you?
I said we.
I know, I'm just playing.
But I meant me and my animals. You weren't there.
Right.
Just
you
kidding.
Weren't there.
You were. Yes, we loaded up 2 cars to the roof.
Literally.
There was not a single inch of, maybe an inch. I could have held
lacking
something
in
my
oxygen.
hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really, it might have been. But we had 2 dogs in Tim's car, along with just, the bare minimum space for those 2 dogs.
That's right.
And then in my car, which is an SUV, to the ceiling from directly behind me all the way back to the trunk. And then I had 3 cats and carriers on the floor and on the seat next to me. And then on top of them was other stuff too. So there really was zero space. We were moving all of our stuff. We'd already sent the moving truck ahead of us. And it was set to be there on Sunday. And we were going to meet it and unload it and everything. Well, we head out, and the second day, we stopped at a hotel somewhere in Texas the first night.
Did we stop in Dallas?
It was probably around Dallas. Our first day was probably...
Okay, so we went to Dallas and then Texarkana. I think we were like several hours in.
Right.
Not that it matters, but...
Right,
yeah.
But we...
It was like 6 o'clock. And we had started back up around 10, so we actually may have driven a while because we went to Dallas to Texarkana, and then I'm guessing more central Arkansas.
I remember we had just stopped though, and we had walkie-talkies between our 2 cars, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, we did. That's
and
right.
You had I think we just stopped to eat or fill up on gas, or
we
had
stopped
to go to the bathroom.
I do remember we stopped at an Exxon station. At that point, this is one of the flaws of my particular model car is that it was burning up engine oil. And so a mechanic in Tucson was like, hey, just, you should be good if it gets a little low, add some oil to it. So I filled up my tank and I added a quart of synthetic for it because I noticed it was a little low. So
we had just gotten back onto the freeway,
maybe
20 minutes on the freeway.
Yes.
And suddenly you are signaling that we're going to get off again.
I put my hazards on too, didn't I?
I think so. And I wasn't sure what was happening. So of course I just thought he has to go to the bathroom again. Right. I can't believe this. We just got off.
Hey, wait a minute now. Right. No, I remember the car was making this grinding weird noise. I'm like, oh, that's not good. This is engine or something. Because and thank God, because I had to, there was an exit right there. And I was
right there.
I hit the gas to accelerate and just making these terrible noises. Ooh. I was like, oh no, there it goes.
So we got off the freeway. We went to a gas station that also had a garage where they worked on cars, but they were closed. So it was
closed. It was 6.
It was Friday afternoon.
In the middle of Arkansas.
Late afternoon, in the middle of Arkansas. So first of all, nothing's going to be open on the weekend.
No.
And yeah, we get to this gas station. We don't know what we're going to do. We don't know if, the best bet is to get a trailer and a U-Haul and tow your car to Virginia or get it fixed there, but also we're racing, time because we have a moving truck to meet on Sunday. And
oh, that's right.
They actually had dropped off our stuff, or they were going to, and then their movers were going to come meet us on Sunday because the truck itself was going to be picked up on Monday. So like we had to have it unpacked by Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just didn't know. We're trying to like run scenarios in our head like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Can we get a hotel somewhere? Or, but also, just what do we do? We've got 5 animals with us. Like, what are we going to do?
And there wasn't really a great answer.
Yeah, we were literally in the middle of what to us it was like the middle of nowhere. It was like,
yeah,
it could have been so overwhelming and so, I don't know, it could have been scary. It could have been just a really bad situation. But I remember thinking I was weirdly upbeat. And I was like, God's going to take care of it. He's going to.
You were like that. That's right.
And it was funny because as this happened, as I was in my car and I saw that you were blinking, put your blinkers on to get off again. I was sitting there in my car just blasting worship music and worshiping the Lord and how he like takes care of us and all this stuff. And then boom, this is happening. And I'm like, all right, here's an opportunity like to to prove that I trust him and he is going to take care of us.
Right.
So I posted on Facebook because I was like, well, I was posting our journey anyway. I had posted pictures of us in the car as we left and just along the way and stuff. And so I posted on Facebook, I said, we just broke down. I think Tim's car could be dead, has, engine issues or whatever's happening. We don't know. And there's no way to find out because nothing's open. We have nowhere to go. We'll see what happens. Pray for us, And immediately, people started sending us money. Several people sent us money and were like, hey.
Oh, that day. Right?
That day, immediately.
Like right then. Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're like, hey, this is clearly it's going to cost more money because we were going to have to get a hotel or a U-Haul or whatever. Wow. People knew that we were in a bad spot and needed help financially. So several people sent us money. And then I got a comment from a lifelong friend, family friend. This is generational family friend who commented and said, hey, my family's there. Let me get them on the phone. And she immediately started like tagging people. And because I knew this family was in Arkansas somewhere, but I didn't know where they were. And I had no idea how close we were. Well, it turns out we were 40 miles from where they live.
Yep.
And so we started getting them on the phone and trying to figure out, hey, can we come stay with you? Or we have 3 cats and 2 dogs. Like this is crazy, Also, we had AAA, not just regular AAA, but like AAA Plus, which has like 100 miles of towing.
Yeah.
So we were able to, once we got them on the phone, I remember calling or getting a call or calling one of them, and she was like, hey, we're at a football game right now, but this couple's gonna go home and get their house ready and you can stay with them. So we got them on the phone, and this like literally like this isn't just some random family. This is, like I said, generational friends. But this is like, this family is like family to me.
But you didn't think of them immediately, though, right?
I knew they lived in Arkansas. I just didn't know where. It's not like, it's not.
Arkansas, it's not a small state.
Not. No. They could have been hours away. Right. I didn't know.
Right.
And so anyway, the Lord worked so quickly in this that it's not like we were standing there and we had to know where we were going to have the car towed as well,
right,
before we could even call a tow truck. And so, this is a long time, family friends, like families. And it's absolutely true. Without this family, I would not exist, because this is the family that is responsible for my mother's salvation. And of course, God is responsible for her salvation.
Sure.
But her best friend, Cheryl, growing up, brought her to church. And
they were the vessels that brought your mother to
yeah.
Christ. Yeah.
And so that's why she
That
became a
God
Christian,
used.
why she was at church, and why she, and it was the church that my dad's family went to as well. So that's how my parents met. And so I legitimately, I would not exist without this family. And they were there in this incredible, crucial point of our road trip, car breakdown. They saved our butts.
They did.
And what I love is that God knows, knew this was going to happen. He knows everything. And this could have happened anywhere, but I think he allowed this to happen or caused this to happen if, held it off or whatever until we were right there where it would have been easy to get to them, that he placed it right within that it was, anyway. So we were able to use AAA Plus, which we already had, to get free towing for the 40 miles to Chris and Cambry's house. And they absolutely just took us in. Like, no questions. Nope. Yes, you're welcome. Your family, we're here for you.
We have a room for you.
We have a room.
Let me take your bags. Do you need anything?
Yeah.
You must be hungry, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, they were incredible. And so
they were.
They have dogs, and so our dogs were playing with their dogs, and but we had 3 cats with us. Like, that's the big. It's like, oh my gosh, cats are hard to travel with, and whatever. Yep. Just the whole thing was crazy.
So this happened on a Friday, and we stayed with them over the weekend.
Well, you did. I stayed one night.
Well, that's what I was going to say, and so we had to make the decision.
Right.
To, like you said, take the car to the mechanic, see what the damage is. And you had to travel to Lynchburg to meet that truck.
It was another 12 or 13 hours from there.
Which was also really sad because you had to go to the house alone. And I had to be there. And I wanted to be with you, of course, with my wife to walk into our first home together.
Yeah.
And so that was a bummer. And
well, the whole thing felt like just a giant bummer any way.
It was.
Also, at the time, we left Tucson knowing that my dad was actively dying.
Oh, yeah.
We waited for as long as we could. But our stuff had already been sent. We'd set things in motion. We stayed for my mom's birthday, and I made her a dinner. We had some friends over for that, and then we left the next day. And so we knew that my dad was going to be dying. And yeah, you didn't get to walk into this house with me,
nope.
Which was sad. We were facing who knows what car troubles.
Right.
And so we decided, after several hours of thought and just trying to figure out what was going to happen, that we would, because they had mechanics in their family and in their church that they trust there in that town.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, if we brought the car to Lynchburg, we don't know anybody here. We literally knew our real estate agent, who was awesome, and I'm sure he would have given us a good referral for a mechanic, but right. It would have been more money we'd have to fix the car either way. We'd have to put out the money to fix the car. It would have added money to get a U-Haul and tow it. And I'd have to get a U-Haul hitch or not a U-Haul hitch, but a trailer.
Well, those are expensive.
Hitch to my car, which I wanted to do anyway, but regardless.
I think it's around $1,000 if you buy it, install it, everything like that. It's expensive.
I did get it priced out. I think it was
am I off?
500 something.
But plus installation?
I don't remember exactly. I don't think it was $1,000. Regardless, just more money, that would have added up. And we didn't have it. Right. We just spent a ton of money to move and all this stuff. And so the best course of action was for you to stay in Arkansas, get your car looked at on Monday by these mechanics, these people that we trust.
Yep.
And I, on Saturday, drove the 12 or 13 hours, and I left the dogs with you, and I took the cats, and I drove, and I arrived at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You were exhausted.
Yeah, I was so tired. So I'm by myself in Virginia in our new house, and I have the cats. So I unload the car, and I have an air mattress in my car because we have obviously no furniture in our house yet.
That's right.
Set it up in the bedroom. I like rigged up some curtains because no curtains on the windows. We've got open windows. And yeah, I just kind of put up different makeshift curtains to block in the bathroom and then in the two bedrooms or windows in the bedroom. Slept for a very short time. And then our handyman came, and at like 7:30 in the morning, I think I got 4 hours of sleep because like not all of our electricity was working. Some of our outlets weren't working. We needed to like plug in lamps. Because most of the rooms don't have lights on the ceilings. And so like the living room does, but our bedroom was just dark. The kitchen has lights in the ceiling, but anyway, so I was bummed I had to be there for, by myself for this. And then the movers showed up, I want to say like 9 a.m. I mean, I just barely got any sleep at all. And luckily, I have a cousin that lives an hour away that,
That's right.
I'd met one time when he came to Tucson for work. And it was so awesome that he was here. And yeah,
He really helped you to
he helped me so much.
set up so much stuff.
Yeah. And even just being here when the movers were here made me feel a lot more comfortable. And
Oh yeah.
I remember I had this big knife that I was using to like open boxes, and all the mover guys were like joking around like, "Oh, don't mess with her. Just look at that knife." But and they were nice guys. Like I wasn't worried.
Sure.
But it was really nice having my cousin here. And he took me out to dinner, and he took me to Target to pick up like a shower curtain liner and a microwave. We had to buy a microwave because we moved into this house without a stove or a refrigerator. That was the first thing I bought for the house, was like a shower curtain liner and a microwave.
Did you have the coffee pot?
I think I did. I think we made sure that came with us.
Right. That's
It was
funny.
like, these are the important things.
I know, right?
And so, yeah, it was a huge bummer to have to do that stuff without you.
Right.
I know.
It was tough for you too because you were going through the loss of your father.
Well, about to. He was dying at that time.
Your father passing and moving into this house was basically synonymous. I just have memories of you crying on the phone or just telling me how difficult the time, and it's been because you're alone in this house with no furniture, and your dad had passed. I'm not there.
Yeah. Because it happened.
It was tough for you.
They moved it, like we moved the stuff in, and it was everywhere, all over the house. Luckily, the moving guys did build my bed, so I had somewhere to sleep that night. True. And that was so grateful for that. But yeah, Monday, so that was Sunday. Monday, my dad died.
Right.
So I am alone in this house. Everything's a mess. I'm not only alone in this house, I'm alone in this city. I don't know a single person.
Right.
And so it's not like I could even have somebody come over. It was like, I'm alone. And that was really hard. Even though I knew it was coming.
It was hard for me too, because I felt like I wanted to be there, help you, but I couldn't. I mean, I didn't, because we had to stay, or I had to stay there because there's car issues that had to be resolved, and it was all about a pretty extended time window.
Yeah, and we actually, the same day we found out that my dad died, we found out that your car died.
Right.
So that was what you were able to get it towed to the shop, and I think they assessed it that day, and they were like, "Yeah, the engine is dead."
Yeah, which, I mean, I remember it was in the gas station, and I remember I shut it off, and then I turned it back on, put it in drive, just to inch it closer for a better spot, because we were leaving it or something.
Yeah.
Possibly. And it was just grinding metal. I was like, oh, that's not good. So, like, I pretty much knew it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe not. But yeah, that was the bad news.
So, I mean, an entire dead engine. And we at this point, we didn't have a lot of money left over. I mean, it cost $10,000 to move our stuff across the country,
Right.
and we just bought this house and we had to we also just had spent $1,500 to put a railing on the porch that we had to do because the people who flipped the house left it off, and insurance requires.
I'd rather not fall off the
A
stairs.
6-foot, high porch.
I mean, I'm grateful that I can move, but got a higher likelihood of falling off the porch if I don't, or falling up the stairs if I don't have a rail.
A railing to use to help you up the stairs and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, all that stuff.
Right.
We had just spent money on, and we didn't have a whole lot left to fix a car, to just fully fix a car. But you ended up going to church with them that day. And I remember you talking about it and just having the most incredible experience there.
Yes. The Holy Spirit was present, to say the least, which he is in all, churches and among the body of Christ, those who are his. But it was a very wonderful church. I had such a great experience. They loved God. They loved Jesus. And I just felt it was something that I needed too. Because there was a lot of stress for me too, but just going to that church and being loved on by the people whose house I was staying at.
And these are people that you'd never met before.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were amazing Christians. We can put it that way. They were loving, hospitable. I mean,
they just opened their arms to you and were like, hey, you're part of our family and we're going to take care of you.
Right. And the next part, though, was that, they knew at this time that I was going to Liberty to go to seminary.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant a lot to them that I was doing that. And I was astounded that they were saying, well, then you need to be a part of this. Maybe you want to be with our ministry for right now. And maybe you want to help us out with our prayer team. And it was incredible. I mean, I feel like God was ministering to me with the opportunities to minister to others because I love doing that. But I hadn't really had much of an opportunity to directly minister by any kind of vocation or volunteering or church. I mean, the last months leading up to that we were just busy and it was just a stressful time. We're getting ready to move, and I hadn't had very many ministry opportunities.
This is coming directly off of your year of internship too at our church in Tucson.
Yes.
But it was COVID. It was that changed everything.
That's right. This is 2021, right?
Yeah. So
right.
It was just coming out of that time, and you really hadn't been able to do as much as you wanted.
No.
And so, this was a time that was. I just remember we talked every night.
Right. But like those this time prior to the move, I knew in my heart, I feel like I'm not serving or having opportunities, or that was just the sense, And man, when I went to this church and got these opportunities, I was so lit up. And it was such a blessing. It's like God was like, boom, here you go. And I was able to do so many things. And
was it that first Sunday that you went that they took up an offering too to help with the car?
Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so outside of them loving me and just being amazing brothers and sisters in Christ,
mm-hmm.
they took up a collection, I believe, and I think it was someone who said that there are some people here, because they knew our story.
Mm-hmm.
The church knew our story. The church knew I was going to seminary. The church knew that our car had died, that the engine was gone. They just knew it. And so went to church and found out, hey, there's some people that are going to donate money for your car. And like, I heard that there was, people paying thousands of dollars for a new engine. I was like, how could you not be in tears over this? I mean, this is really important to understand. We didn't have a lot of money. Like, all our money had gone to moving, and the money that we had left over was like necessary.
Yeah.
So that was a stressor for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? And then hearing that that there's potential for our car to be paid for.
Right.
Like, you've got to be kidding me.
The church did that. There were still people just reaching out and giving us money because people didn't, just from the Facebook post. People gave us so much money, just not even knowing how much it was going to cost, but knowing that it was going to be, a big amount.
Right.
And so we had several people sending us money, the church raising money. Yeah, and it ended up being so much more money than we even could imagine, because there was also there was like a belt or the timing belt or something like that they replaced as well.
Yeah, they actually ended up replacing, I think, the water pump, the timing belt, and the engine.
Right. So this is huge.
Right.
Huge repairs.
Do you remember what the final bill?
I think it was $12,000.
Correct.
Is that
exactly.
right?
That's,
okay.
I was almost testing because I remember that amount.
Yeah.
That is astounding. I'm like, you could buy
a new car,
like a nice car.
Right.
I'm telling you, you can hunt and find something nice.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Back then you could. I don't know about now, but yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was so cool because not only did the Lord provide, we'll just say that, like we ended up paying $1,000. $1,000 out of the $12,000 that was owed.
That's right.
He provided the rest.
That's right.
That is, wow. How? Like, what?
Absolutely. No, it was amazing.
And because he prompted people to give, and he knew the amount,
Oh yeah.
And but aside from that, which is already like mind blowing, but he knew too, like, you were going to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a long time to just be sitting around. Like.
Yeah, and so some of the, I will always remember this ministry opportunity, and I forget the church's name. I think it was like Trinity Church, I believe. And this is in Hot Springs, and they had this incredible ministry that I believe they said had lasted for over 2 decades.
Wow.
And what it was, they got food, and lots of it, from local stores in the area, so that I believe it was every Tuesday or Wednesday, they had a food drive in the church. And this, again, like you said, this is a COVID-friendly time. But I think it got even bigger or something like that because of COVID. And so what happens is people who are in need come into the church parking lot, and they have tons of food and tons of volunteers. But my role, and they were okay with this, I was like, can I go pray over the people in the cars? So they would have workers who would help get people the food they needed. And it's important to note that during this time, this is also, this is during COVID. There's a lot of brokenness. I mean, just being honest, people who are in need of food, sometimes there's brokenness to go along with that too. So I was so glad I could pray over people. And so I would go to each car and pray for them, and almost all of them would just open up and be like, so what's going on? How can I pray for you? And it was amazing. And then there was this one lady who asked for me to pray for her husband, who was dealing with some kind of illness and had trouble with walking, with getting out of bed, things like that. And so I prayed for him, and I don't know whether some people may disagree or agree whether we have the capacity as Christians to do this, but I'm not a cessationist. I believe that spiritual gifts can happen. And anyway, but I got a praise report, like, from one of the pastors at the church, like, the following week, and he's like, hey dude, like, that woman that you prayed over, she said that her husband was healed. And like, he's getting up and moving and everything, and like in a really rapid way. And I was like, wow. He was like, praise God, man. So that's what this church was doing. The church was coming like, hey man, praise report. Mm-hmm. So that was neat. just things like that. And I got to do this. I got to do this for 2 weeks. I got twice within 2 weeks, and it was fantastic.
And
I
you
just
got to be part of their like meetings,
yeah, and
staff meetings and
I
stuff.
got to be part of their staff meetings, and I got to hang out with their youth pastor. I got to hang out with the lead pastor. I mean, we went to this gathering of all the pastors in the local area, which was a beautiful thing. I mean, they were able to come together, even though maybe their doctrine has slight differences. Not the primary stuff like the gospel, but some secondary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they came all together like Lutheran, Methodist, non-denominational, Baptist.
Right.
And they were like praying over one another and like, man, I'm just really struggling with this. And I was like, this is gorgeous. Like, I felt so privileged to do this. Just felt
it's like the Lord was just filling you up.
Yeah, He really was. And this is one of those times where I'm like, God, thank you for that. And we can look back on times like that. It's like I can say, even if I'm having a tough time, sometimes I have to I have to go into it intentionally and be like, all right, let me think of some things. And like this is one of those that I go back to. The Lord can provide us with things like this to refresh us or recharge us in Him. And that was just an opportunity He gave to me. Now, I was like, man, Katie's out there in Lynchburg alone. I'm kind of having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely.
And so, no, I mean, and I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you were still having a tough time. And I was like, man, I'm enjoying myself over here, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it ended up being okay for me too. Like I would have loved to have people with me, but it's not like my dad died suddenly and it was just completely devastated. It was a joyful thing because he had declined so much, had been on hospice for 2.5 years, and it was time for him to go. And I knew that him hanging around, like we had said goodbye the week before, and he gave me a hug and said, I love you. But that was more than we'd had out of him in days. He really was he was out of it. He was,
he wasn't all there.
No, he was declining. He was dying. And so, and we had been praying for him to go toward the end for a while. So, we were ready for him to go. We'd said all the goodbyes. And I mean, it was still hard, it happened. He died. He was no longer there. And I was alone. But I did get to spend hours and hours every single day on FaceTime with all of my family. And I was able to, set up the house to a certain extent by myself, which seems awful for me, but somehow it was, I don't know, it was good. I always, I had moved so many times in the past 10 years. And every time I moved to a new place, if I wasn't renting a bedroom from somebody, if I had my own place, my own apartment, it was always, I never got to set up my own kitchen, which I was grateful that people were there helping me, but I was always like, I don't know where they put things, and I didn't know where things were. So like I got to set up my own kitchen, which was a good thing for me.
Right.
And so not that I'm like brushing off, it was fine. It was a very tough time.
Of course.
But I'm just saying it was okay. And I got through it. And we ended up leaving the car in Arkansas for another month. But I came and picked you up after 2 weeks because
it took a long time to find a proper engine.
The proper engine, and then the shipping times during that time, coming out of COVID, were crazy.
Yes. That's when trucking had extremely delayed deadlines and shipping times, and what ETAs of 2 days turn into 3 weeks.
Right. It was crazy.
The mechanic was telling me that.
Right. And there was nothing they could do about it. And so it was what it was. And so I went and picked you up. So I did an extra trip. I remember driving, it was like 12 hours, and then we left. And it was such a short trip for me being there, but it was a lot of it was like 24 driving hours to get you back home. But I remember I wanted you home because the day after we got home was our anniversary.
That's right. And that was very important. I think we had a conversation of, you could have picked me up like the next weekend or something like that. because we were trying to see if, well, maybe the car will be ready next week and maybe I should stay. And then we're like, no. And I was just thinking, like, there's no way. I need to be with you.
Right.
I need to go to the house. And I was ready. I mean, it was just the time to come to you.
And so we figured out, you know what, we're going to be going back to Tucson anyway for Thanksgiving. And we had my dad's service at the same time, the weekend just before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
And so we're like, well, we'll pick the car up on the way back home. So that's what we did. So it was a month later.
Right.
Which was nice because then we got to see them again and everything. But yeah, I mean, the incredible way that the Lord took that time that could have been just so awful, yeah. And really did something beautiful with it. Like, he really filled your cup during that time. He gave you such an incredible couple weeks of ministry.
He did.
To look forward to. Seminary is hard. I see you.
It certainly is.
I see you not struggling like.
No, there's absolutely struggle in seminary.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at what is beautiful and divine academically. And you don't want to do that 10-page research paper. You're exhausted from writing about God.
Yeah.
And also when you arrived seminary with a specific staunch position on a doctrine, you'll get shaken.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of it.
Right.
And
as somebody who's training to go into ministry, like, you want to go into ministry now. And
oh gosh, that's still a burden.
I think that's your biggest struggle is you're like, oh, I want to be doing this now. I don't want to be in school. And, this is taking so long. But so I love that he gave that to you, those couple weeks of just really getting to do ministry and seeing how that could work in the future at some, who knows where God's going to have you. And obviously you're going to be a hospital chaplain. So, but who knows? Who knows what he
God
has
willing.
for you.
Right.
And I love that he did that for you. And I was, I'm fine. And he gave me the peace that I needed. He gave me the conversations and the time with family, even though it was over the phone, and that's okay. My sister's in California, my brother's in Tennessee. It's not like I would have been with them anyway.
Right. Let me mention one thing that was very impactful for me. Was when you openly just display your great faith. And I'm not one of those who says, well, you just don't have enough faith. Not in that context. But when you and I were faced with the fact that my car was dead in an Exxon in the middle of Arkansas at 6 p.m. with nothing open.
With 5 animals.
The sun is setting. The deadline is looming. We have no money. What do we do? I mean, I wasn't really in a panic state. I was just thinking, like, wow, this is intense. I didn't even go to God at that point. And but you did. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, we all go to God in different ways, but that was really inspirational, Kate. I mean, that is as we've talked about, like, your spiritual gift is faith. And you just go to it, like you said earlier, you just went to worship in the car, and then, I don't know, I love your joy, I love your faith, and how to watch you actually take so much comfort in it. It's not just joy and faith in the Lord, like it's very real, and it's very obvious, it's very pointed. So I just wanted to take that moment to show how you can use your faith in difficult times, and it inspires others.
Well, thanks. It is definitely from the Lord. I'm so grateful to have that spiritual gift, but he just built that, like I said in last week's episode on anxiety, that I watched it my whole life. I watched him provide in crazy ways. And so I know what he is capable of. I know that he takes care of his children and he loves us. And, I just...
Well, what's wild is that those are all what we as Christians say, during the good times and during the church services. And Those are platitudes. That's like Christianese, Christian speak. But I see you all the time actually to the mat, using it, like to the pavement kind of thing. You use your faith all the time, and it's very genuine and true. And it's very inspiring to me. I mean, I have gifts, I have all that God can give me, but, sometimes I got to be humble and say, I haven't, I may be going to ministry, God calls me to things, but sometimes it's really good to learn from someone who's been a Christian for a long period of time, like you have. I mean, you've been saved since you were 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, one of your responses is, I've known God my whole life. So it just helps me in those times. When I get, stressed or nervous about something, you can say, hey, God's got this. And regardless of my immediate response,
mm-hmm.
it helps.
Right.
It helps. I may be like, no, I don't know.
You've seen this happen several times
right.
now.
And the point is, if one can just take a step in faith, that can really bring a person out of their own stress, fear, or state of anxiety. I think one of the best ways is to just shift a perspective in terms of exiting from anxiety, for example, or move in a different direction. And using faith does that too. I mean, if you can say to yourself, no, I'm choosing this in faith, it helps. I mean, so much of the therapy for anxiety in itself is just change your perspective, locate these cognitive distortions. It's like, well, sometimes they are distortions, but they can be distortions of fear. And so you need to actually use your faith for a minute. It's okay. Like press into God.
Mm-hmm.
Allow him to wash over you. It's all right. So.
Yeah, and I think the more that you experience it, the more you see it happen, the easier it is to trust him and to know
Right.
that he is going to come through.
Yeah, and God is there all the time. I'm not saying we're allowing God if we have faith, but it's just a great practice to exercise. I think God is working no matter what, but we can also glorify him with our faith and taking steps to draw closer to him and just it's like, I got this. Just
yeah. He did it again recently. Last month we had a medical bill that we couldn't pay, and you couldn't even make an appointment to get the services you needed without us paying that bill. And our first reaction is to worry and to be like, well, what are we going to do? But very quickly, I remember saying, you know what? God's got this. He's going to take care of it. And I had no idea how he was going to do that.
Right.
But very quickly, I want to say it was the next day, you had been talking to a friend and just like he, told him about the situation. And this friend just decided to pay the bill for us. He said,
unreal.
Yeah. He said that God told him to do it. Right. And that's what the Lord prompts people to do, that kind of thing. And he does that all the time. And it's like he provides through his people and in ways that there's no way. It's not, you certainly were not talking to this friend going, oh, he's going to pay my bill. That was not even slightly in your head.
Right. No.
Right. Like, why would you expect that? Of course you don't expect that. And then when somebody just steps up and says, you know what? I got this. And it's like, wow, what an incredible way to be used by God as well.
Yes, I completely agree. And, in our faith, we're ready for whatever he gives us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, well, this is what God does in terms of blessings and all the time in terms of money. Of course, there's going to be issues and struggles, but he's still there. And this is just an example of the things that he does when he wills it. This is just an example of ways that he blesses us and
provides for us.
Right.
He's a good father.
Yes, he is.
Takes care of his kids. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And literally just it blows me away. It brings me to tears every time he does it. It never gets to a point where it's like, oh, he did it again, no big deal, like whatever. I'm used to it. I trust that it's going to happen, and I know he's going to take care of us, but still, every single time, it completely blows me away and brings me to tears.
Right.
It's so cool to see him do that. So yeah, I'm just going to end with one question. What's in your teacup?
Camo with honey. I think this was the same as last time.
You did. We started out with one cup of tea at the beginning of this, and then we paused in the middle and ended up. So what did you have in your first cup?
That would be Earl Grey.
Yes. And I had...
Both caffeinated. No, the Kim but Earl Grey was because I have to study after this.
And I started out with raspberry tea with honey, and then I have white tea with cream and stevia, and it's delicious.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today and listening as we are exploring all the ways that God takes the things the enemy means for evil and turns them around to use them for our good and His glory. If you have questions, comments, feedback, ideas for us, or you just want to say hi, you can reach us at noweaponshallprosperpodcast@gmail.com. Talk to you again soon.